All right. So balance is, wait, flexing muscles to do what? Kind of. Okay, so if you're standing on your bike and you're hopping back and forth, that's what you do on those. You hop back and forth a lot to keep your balance. Why do you need to? And as we balance, standing here, how do we balance? What do? Do you actually have a plumb bob that you hang and find the center of your body? And has anybody ever gone to a physical therapist and have you stand on two separate scales? You try this sometime. You stand on two scales. Why would you stand on two scales? Let's run it. Some people tend to stand on one side or the other side. What happens over time? You slouch to one side all the time when you sit. There you go. Posture perfect. Thank you. What happens? What's going to come and get you? Well, who's going to come and get you? Okay. I brought this today, so we can actually do this. Okay, so how can I balance this? Well, can I do this with my eyes closed? Visual information is going to my parietal lobe. My parietal lobe adjusts the sensations of my hands and allows me to figure out where the balance of this is. And so in order for me to balance it, what do I need to do? So how am I able to balance it? And not nearly as well as other people have. Okay. Come on, I can't do this forever. How do I do this? What is my hand doing? Ish. So whatever way it's moving, if I get into my Zen, come on, I can keep. There you go. But, so if it's tilting this way, what do I have to do with my hand? To move it underneath it. If it tilts back, I have to move it this way. So I can move my hand around in a circle, and if I can move my hand around in a circle, I can keep my center of gravity underneath this center of gravity, right? That's how you balance. So do you do this with your body all the time? Yes, unless you just randomly just fall over. You know, like, God, what usually causes us to fall over? Why when you trip on something? Okay. Your balance is a series of accelerometers. What's an accelerometer? I can demonstrate this now. If I want to step forward, what do I have to do with my muscles? If I want to go that way, what do I have to do with my muscles? See what I just did with my hand to keep it balanced? So if I want to go forward, I lean it back. See that? Okay? Good. Okay? So if I want to go backwards, I have to push my hand the opposite direction. So the way your ear cells work, you have circular canals, 3 circular canals, some that go this way, some that go this way, and the other ones go this way, and this way. But with the combination of those hair cells, and picture the hair cell just like this. This is how the hair cell works. So when I move forward, the hair goes backwards, which causes your sensation to feel I'm going forward. So the backwards causes so the same thing is that if I have to move, if I want to go forward, the faster I go, the further back I have to make it to go. And it's kind of fun. Can you learn to balance things? Yeah, and it's like there's people that do that. Yeah. I'm not going to try that because I really suck at that. But there's some guy, like, it used to be a TV show called Real People. Like a long time ago. People doing really stupid things. Like some guy, like, kept bullets in his mouth. Good time. You could probably find that on YouTube. But the guy used to balance stuff like furniture on his face. I just know I'm going to slip. Yeah. Okay. Which would be more fun if I had a video live stream, but no. Okay. So, but the goal is that when you try to think about balance, it's the sensory perception of the environment. That is the feedback that you get. The feedback that your brain gets of the environment comes from these otolith organs. The hair cells look like this. This is what hair cells look like. There's an actual picture of a hair cell. I told you I had one somewhere. I found it. Okay, I've been dumping everything that I have in my OneDrive. Hasn't filled up yet. Yeah. Anyway, we have an unlimited, I think, OneDrive. I think it's unlimited. I don't know. We'll keep dumping junk in it and see what happens. Okay, so what happens with a hair cell? If I bend it a little bit, what happens? A little bit. So actually potassium channel. Whatever. It opens the channels a little bit. Okay? When I open the channels a little bit, it sends a smaller change in frequency. When I open the channels a lot, it causes a large change in frequency. So if I'm just moving subtly around, I get small changes in frequency, so I feel like I'm accelerating slowly. Like, has anybody ever sat on an airplane and accelerated down the runway? No one in here has ever been on an airplane? Okay, thank you. A few people moved now. Excellent. You're accelerating very fast on an airplane. But if you've ever been in a very fast sports car, you actually accelerate faster in a fast sports car than you actually do on an airplane. They go from 0 to about 100 miles an hour by the end of the runway. But if you go into, anybody who's ever been in a really fast race car, like my friend had an M3, thing was insane. He would just step on it and you'd go, and it just, he had this Mercedes station wagon. He just got a Corvette too now, so he's got midlife crisis at all over. But he's always had expensive, fast cars. That's like his vice. He wears Costco clothing, but has expensive, fast cars. Okay, so I want to show you how this works. This is actually what we've been talking about. This is that cochlea that I drew. Except I drew it as a long, straight curve, but how is it actually shaped? It's shaped like a conical, it's a conical shape, cochlea, shaped like a shell. And it's shaped like a shell because we have these fluid-filled containers. The fluid-filled containers allow, so there's two different channels in here. Let me just try this on here real quick. There's two basic channels. Wait, what do you think all these weird canals are that go around it? What are all these things? Those are the otolith organs. This is where your balance is. Why on earth, when you get an ear infection, do you lose your balance? It's in the same place. If I put pressure inside of the fluid around your ear, you lose your balance because the nerves get compressed by the fluid. So, the nerves can't fire smoothly. So this is actually kind of interesting. Has anybody ever had a concussion in here? What's it like to try to think when you have a concussion? Very muggy is the exactly right way to say it. Your thinking is slow. It's like when you wake up in your deep sleep. Well, you see it and everything seems to be running in full time, but you're like my father-in-law, he had heart problems for a while, so they had to restart his heart occasionally because he had AFib. And one of the things that they used to do is they anesthetize him before they zap him because it hurts getting zapped. And one time they're like, okay, Mr. Warner, can you hear us? 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. And his hand goes, 3 seconds between the time that we said, can you hear us, and he moved his hand. Why 3 seconds? The word muddy is a really good way of saying it. So think about it in your nerves in your ears. What if they're surrounded by fluid that's pressing on the neurons? It's not going to really affect the sodium and potassium flowing across, but it's going to affect the ability for the nerve to communicate between the two neurons. The synapse is going to get affected by the pressure. And so the synaptic connections are going to go slower. Okay. So this is where your nerves are toast in through here. Those are where the hair cells are. And if they're not there, do you get sound? No. So we put the electrical grid where this goes in your brain. So just to keep this idea of how this goes, here's how it actually looks like. So I wish it wasn't quite so frenetic. It's kind of panicky. But as the sound is being pressured here, the fluid flows down one side of the cochlea, and what happens on the other side? It pushes back. So what happens is when the fluid is low pressure here and high pressure here, this whole thing moves up. When it moves up, it bends the hair cells. When it goes the other way, it bends the hair cells the opposite way, and we get waves. Okay, so you can kind of see how there's one set of membranes here, there's one the fluid channel in the center, which is filled with the gaseous goodness, and then there's another fluid. So these 3 channels, the hair cells are inside that middle layer, or not inside that middle layer. Okay? This is what it actually looks like. This is inside of a frog's ear when they're playing a certain frequency. Are we talking a lot of movement here? Okay, so I'm going to pause this, and then I'm going to wait for it. I want you to pay attention to right here in the video. Okay, so see that spot in the video? Okay? Here are the hair cells. Here's the fluid moving on one side, here's the fluid moving on the other side, and here are the hair cells. Are we talking like a lot of movement here? No, very tiny movements, very subtle movements. But what we're seeing is we're seeing volleys of these fluids moving back and forth across. You can really see it, like right here. See what I do? This fluid is moving, this fluid is moving, and right here you can see where it seems to be deflecting the most. Where it's deflecting a lot, and you can follow it all the way up. Okay, again, this is why sometimes trying to understand this from the physiological point of view is hard. But if you understand it from the conceptual view, then you look at the physiological sense, and you can go, oh, okay, I'm getting this. And that's why I like this picture better. It's a lot easier to see than... But if you're a biology person, you look at this and go, oh, I can totally see that these are endothelial layers, and then, yeah. So, we can look at the information going into your brain from your ears. This is my mother-in-law. Here are her ears. Here are those little tiny cochleas inside of her ear. Right here. Again, you can see the shape. But does it really look like anything? No, because biologists love this crap, but the rest of us go, oh, get it. So we prefer the diagram. Wrong one. So sound goes into your brain through what's called the superior olive. I'm interested in your ability to echolocate. Wait, don't say anything. Okay, so I already heard the so you all kind of know what's going to happen. Okay, so can you go out there? I'm going to put my phone somewhere, and I'm going to text it. I want to see if you can find it. Okay? So yeah, go out there. Okay, my ringer's turned on, otherwise it becomes necessary. My neighbor texted me that I'm picking up a kid this morning on the way to school. Okay. So we'll point your mind to something like that. Okay. Okay. 1 second. That was crazy. Okay. Oh crap, I'm going to send my own phone number out. Okay. Oh well. Okay. Hi Steve. Let's see. Probably not the smartest thing to be putting on YouTube, but oh well. Okay. Wait for it. This was doing the experiment we did. Okay. Yes, they had to read the text that I was sending them. I sent them to myself. Okay. Okay. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and turn around 2 or 3 times. Okay? Okay, just stand there. Okay, so just wait for it. You'll hear it. Did you hear it? Uh-oh. Okay, try it again. I realize why he might not hear it. What's wrong with the frequency? Too low. Yeah, so that the frequency that is too low for him to hear. So never mind, fine, and I just shared my phone number with YouTube and whatever, I'll edit that out later. Okay. So if I set this up, hey, look, I texted myself. Okay. If I set the frequency higher, why would he have trouble echolocating? Wait, so I know you know why. Maybe. Okay, let's see what you think. Why would he have trouble echolocating? Go ahead. Because there's a really great video with Bo Lotto where they put a hat on your head that's got 2 pieces of PVC pipe that flick your left and right side to each other. So I gotta make fun of you. I can do that this weekend. You put the hat on, and it puts like a tube over your ear, and so this ear hears that side of the world, and this ear hears opposite. So when you hear somebody make a noise, you automatically turn. So this first part of your brain, called the superior olive, helps you understand where something is. Your implant is above the superior olive. It's not down in your medulla. Your implants are up higher. So echolocating for him is going to be tough because it's not going through the normal pathway, I'm sorry, this means. But it's not going through the biologically evolved pathway to identify distance. So we also notice distance by timing. So what you do is if I make a sound, hey Google, can you play a doorbell sound?
This is a doorbell.
How do I know where that is? Hey Google, play the doorbell sound again.
This is a doorbell.
How can I find it over there? It's louder on this side than it is on this side. So what most people do consciously is keep turning their heads until they can hear equal volume on both ears. So why would you automatically turn to the right? Yeah, because you automatically have the volume on this ear. Like this ear. So to equalize the volume, you're immediately going to turn toward the bad ear. But toward the right, so you can hear it louder. Hey Google, play a cricket. Hey Google, play a cricket sound.
This is a cricket.
Can you do that? Okay. And so with a cricket, it's really tough to hear. Because the frequency that it puts out is a very pure frequency. So if I put the cricket somewhere in the classroom and started making it cricket, you can't echolocate a cricket because the frequencies are too pure. They're like almost perfectly on pitch. And what's fun about that is that geckos, which love crickets, their ear distance is just far enough away that they can hear a cricket properly. So their ears have evolved to be just the right space that makes the where crickets are. Google, quack like a duck. Here's another one. Hey Google, quack like a duck.
This is a duck.
We do this all day at home. Hey Google, can you make a platypus sound?
I haven't been able to find a recording of a platypus making a sound, but I'm working on it.
Whatever. Okay. It's supposed to go. What? Hey Google, play a burp sound. You know what I'm asking now.
Playing burp song on YouTube.
No, not playing a burp song on YouTube. Okay. My home speaker at home now is playing a burp song. Oh, jeez. Okay, stop. Okay. So now, this is something that's actually important. The superior olive is in your medulla. It automatically controls processes of the head and neck motion so you can echolocate. You turn your head around so you can recognize where a particular sound is. The second thing is it does is that it goes to the inferior colliculi. The inferior colliculi are the part of your brain where you reflexively act toward motion or toward sound. In some animals, do they respond very quickly to sound? Yes. And that is the superior colliculi triggering reflexes in response to sound. Okay. And what do we do in the auditory cortex? What's the auditory cortex for? That's where you hear. That's where the consciousness of hearing comes from. That's the actual, I hear a word. And there's a really great video of Bobby McFerrin who plays his audience. And I'll play that right at the end of class today. Okay, there's balance. We got the balance. This one's cool. These are actually drawings from the Gray's Anatomy coloring book. If you've ever taken anatomy, get the coloring book. It's great. Okay. So this up here is called a Pacian corpuscle. This is a sensory nerve. These are mechanically activated sensors, and these mechanically activated sensors are very cool. Whenever I put my two membranes together, they open a sodium channel. If I put 3 membranes together, the channel opens wider. If I put 4 membranes together, it opens wider. So if I take this channel and I put pressure on it, what happens on this nerve? I put pressure on these little membranes. What happens to the nerve? Stimulated. So what if I take that pressure off? They always fire. If I put a huge amount of pressure on that nerve, what happens? Let's see if I have. Usually carry one of these for this very reason. Well, maybe I have a binder clip. I usually have one clamped onto something, and I had it clamped onto it earlier, and I don't know what I did with it. There it is. That's not a binder clip. Any other binder clip? Oh, good. Here, throw it up. Just throw it. That's not going to work. Yeah, it'll turn into it. It'll grow up and become a coat hanger at some point in its life. No, that's not going to work. Come on, someone's got to have an office supply addiction. I literally had one clamped onto my cable for this very reason, and I think I may have used it for something. No one has a binder clip. This makes it good recording. Fine. So what if I stick a binder clip on my ear? If I had a binder clip, I would stick it on my ear. Gosh darn it. I don't know what that is. Sticking that on my ear. Okay. I swear I threw it in here. Gosh darn it. So how can I find it by rummaging in my bag? Media stick, flash drive, yo-yo. How can I tell what things I'm grabbing in here? Could you? How do people do this rummage when they're first looking for something? Like you did, or backpack. How do you know what you're touching? Ooh, top-down processing in cognitive class. You reach in and you have an idea of your brain sets up a series of textures that you're looking for. And that series of textures is a pattern. I'm going to write the word texture here. Hey, cognitive actually does work. Okay, so what you do is you have a series of textures that you are looking for. I know it's up here somewhere. I see it! Oh, that's fine. No poop. Okay. Sorry to use the pencil. I literally had it there yesterday morning. Hello? Someone else. Okay. I'm over it. No more binder clip. So, I want you to think about one nerve. One single nerve. I want you to feel the fabric on the chair next to you with your finger. Feel the fabric on the chair next to you with your finger. How can you tell it's made out of fabric? We're talking bottom up at this point. How do you know what the fabric feels like? How can you describe it? So what? So you can touch it. So what? So it is sending a signal that looks like this. This is the texture of it. Feel the wooden part next to it. Can you feel the difference between the wooden part and the fabric part? Can you feel the difference between the wooden part, the fabric part, and the metal part? So what's happening is each one has a different surface to it. The metal part has the smoothest surface. If you have a phone, you can tell the difference between the front and back of the phone. Because the texture causes a pattern of compressions and bounces on the surface of these pacemaker and corpuscles. So your body's sensory window is made out of all of these little fibers. And these little fibers record what we call dermatomes. A dermatome is an area at which these receptors go to a single nerve. So in the middle of your back, you have dermatomes that are this big. There's a whole area where you can feel something on your back, but one point in this entire dermatome is all one basic thing. It's like the periphery of your eye, the receptor fields in the periphery of your eye. Any light hits anywhere over here, you see a light over there. In the middle of your back, you're very insensitive. So like when you get old and weird, you get weird hairs growing out of your back for no reason whatsoever, kind of like a fly. Anybody seen the movie The Fly? They're clipping the fly. You get those. So my daughter thinks it's really funny to walk by and just yoink one out when I'm walking by. Sometimes I can't feel it at all. Other times, it hurts like a mother. What determines whether it hurts when I can't feel it? Whether it's inside or outside of a dermatome. Almost every single hair follicle has a dermatome underneath it. Can you feel your hair? You feel the hair follicles. The hair follicles are what determine where your position of your hair is. So if you've had your hair up in a ponytail all day, I used to have long hair when I was in college. I shaved it up to the top and it was super, got all the way down to the bottom. It was awesome. And I used to wear like pretty much bandanas all the time or baseball hats to keep it out of my face. But when I would have a bandana on all day, and then when I would take it off, my hair would hurt. Or if I wore a baseball hat all day. Why is my hair actually hurting? What hurts? All the follicles have a sensory dermatome on them. And that sensory dermatome on the follicle gives more of a pointed where something is. My friend Rich he's pretty much half orangutan. He's got bright orange hair. He's all bald now. But he was the furriest guy I've ever met in my entire life. And he just covered with, Ingebretsen's last name, just covered with fur. Like on the track, he's out there working out, and it was a discus thrower, and he's out there, and he's like, I'm like, dude, you don't need sunblock. But the problem is that he's always itchy. Why would he always be itchy if he's covered in fur? That would be weird. Full body dandruff. That's actually called eczema, but that's not important. Thank you. Every time his shirt moves, what moves? All the hair follicles. And all the hair follicles are connected to these nerves, and he feels every time. So that's why he walks around with the shirt all the time off, because he's got a lot of fur and proud to show it. Okay. Red, like orangutan. Okay. So, he's completely bald now, though. I wonder if his back is bald too. This pattern baldness goes all the way down. Okay. So, what's really fascinating is that there are actually about 7 different types of sensory nerves. This is just the easiest one to understand. The second type to understand, these are just what we call free nerve endings, open nerve fibers. Within all of your skin, you have these open nerve fibers. It's literally just a channel sitting there, wide open. So if you damage any cell, what gets into the cell? Blood. Guess what happens when blood touches this free open nerve ending? Blood is salty. Guess what the nerve cell says? These are called pain fibers. They're free nerve endings, pain fibers. Normally, these pain fibers are encapsulated and are perfectly fine. But when you hurt yourself, like if you stick a binder clip on your ear, what happens? You're smushing the nerve. If you're physically smushing the nerve, will it start sending signals? Yes. So pain fibers are literally just open nerve fibers. Does anybody know how to activate pain fibers the most effectively without cutting yourself? Chili pepper. It's orange. There's a habanero. I'll make it shorter. There is a... I'll make the fuse on the top of it too. Okay. There is a... Okay, that looks embarrassing. I'm going to Okay, so now... there's a video of this young African-American lady who does this YouTube channel, and she eats different stuff and tells you what she's eating. You know who I'm talking about? Okay. Is that her name? Okay. Lizelle? Glow Cell. Okay. Because she's young. Okay. So there's a really funny episode where she gets a habanero pepper. She thinks it's a little cherry pepper, like the little sweet bell peppers that you get at Costco in the pack. And she goes, these little cherry peppers are really good. It's a little bit spicy. Takes a bite of it and starts chomping away talking. And all of a sudden she goes, woo, woo, woo. And have you seen the video? Yeah, okay. What does those chili peppers have, what do those chili peppers have, that causes people to Capsaicin. Capsaicin is pain. It is. When capsaicin hits these receptors, it causes these receptors to activate. Pain receptors. Now, can you get used to capsaicin? Yes. You get used to it. It's actually, I love spicy foods. There's a burrito from Chuy's right near my house. It's called the Diablo Shrimp Burrito. Holy crapola. It is so good. But at the same time, it is psychotically spicy. Have you been to Chuy's yet? Yeah. Oh, it's right on the corner, right across. It's right between pawn shops on Elkhorn Boulevard by the car wash and by the Great Cut Center where they get their haircut. Okay, but it's a really, really good burrito place. And Guy from Dinner Sides and Drive-Ins went there. But their Diablo Shrimp is, anybody had it in here? No one? You have homework. Okay. It is so spicy. I can eat pretty much anything. And I'm sitting there on the couch crying because A, it tastes so good. B, it's so spicy. I only ate half of the burrito. I had to wait for half an hour before I could eat the other half of the burrito. And maybe eat a little yogurt in between. Because what does yogurt do? Or ice cream or milk or whatever. It coats the membranes in your mouth so you can't feel the pain. Did my stomach hurt after eating it? Yes. But the taste was so good. I still finished the burrito. My son's looking at me going, why are you finishing that? Because I really want one now. Anyway. But the capsaicin activates the nerve fibers. When the capsaicin activates the nerve fibers, it sends a signal of pain. When you eat a chili pepper, what happens? You sweat. Because that pain sensation from capsaicin equals heat. These are heat receptors. What's really kind of fun, anybody know what activates the opposite of capsaicin? What activates cool receptors or blocks heat receptors? Ice cream coats it. It fills in the papillae on your tongue. Again, milk is just the fat in the milk. Non-fat milk really doesn't do it. Yogurt works great because it's very viscous. Mint, peppermint. The actual chemical's name is menthol. Menthol, if anybody needs snacks, I always have snacks in my office. I have a giant bag of peppermint lifesavers. I love those. They're like 15 calories each. You eat one, and what does your mouth feel like? Cold. Is it really getting cold? No, if I put peppers in my mouth, is it really getting hot? No. But what does your brain think? The receptors are saying, the feedback is, that is hot. When I was a kid, we used to have a soup called hot and sour soup. You ever had that? Yeah. It's really good. It's a very strange panoply of construction in your head. The Tom Yum soup is also extremely good, which is a spicy coconut soup that's really sweet and spicy and shrimpy and weird and lemony, but not lemony. The flavors hit your mouth and your brain just goes, it's amazing. And every time you swish it around a little bit, this other flavor burst comes out of your consciousness until you get used to eating Thai food, and then all of a sudden it just tastes like soup. It's amazing. I'm hungry. Okay. So, what if you mix capsaicin and menthol together? Oh, why would I put menthol in your cigarette? So when you inhale when you inhale anything burning into your mouth, it's hot. But if I make it feel cool and then heat it up, you actually inhale deeper. Why would I want to inhale anything deeper? No, it gets people addicted. Usually what stops people from smoking is that coughing fit you get after when your lungs hit that hot gas hits your lungs, it causes a reflexive coughing. But don't worry, you'll get used to that. But if I add the menthol, I don't get that sensation, so I don't cough as much. It increases the risk of addiction. Does all the flavors for vapey things increase the rate of addiction? Yeah. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Hard to tell which is the real one, which is the... So, these right here on this young gentleman are the different receptor fields, the different dermatomes in the skin. What are all the C6, C8, C6, C5, C... What are those? S1... What's a vertebrae? Each vertebrae has a collective dermatome that goes into that particular vertebrae. You can't see it because it's behind here, but when I hurt my back, I ruptured L4. So what happened with L4? What did I lose? I didn't lose muscle right away. I lost muscle later. I lost a large portion of my quadriceps, and this L4 goes up underneath the knee. I lost my knee jerk reflex, and I lost the middle part of this quadriceps. So in the dermatome, that sensory perception, by losing my knee jerk reflex, what happened to the strength on my left leg? It got weak. Because without the feedback coming up, I could not push as hard. Even though my leg wasn't weak, it felt weak because I wasn't getting the feedback. So when I went to the doctor, he's like showing me, once they did the scans and they showed the thing and showed me how to fix it, he goes, yeah, so he put my leg here and they go, okay, so push against me, and I kind of lifted him up. So I go, okay, do it this leg. So I did the same thing and he went flying. So this leg, even though it felt like I was really weak, and I would collapse occasionally if I put my weight on it, it's like I'm sitting in front of the house and I kind of lean this way, my leg just went plump, and I completely fell down. Why would I fall down? without the feedback, the muscles didn't know when to contract, and by the time I realized that I was collapsing, it was too late to flex them and push myself back up again. It's a really awful feeling. Hopefully you don't have that. That's why you got to work on your slouchy posture now, because when you're old, your slouching will catch up to you. Okay, any injury that you have when you're in your 20s, you get to relive it when you're 40. Those shin splints that you ignored, you're fine now. Yeah. Okay. So, inside your parietal lobe, inside your parietal lobe, at the top of your brain, you have a map of your entire body. What part of your body do you see the largest represented? Oh, it's kind of graphics are not the greatest. The face. And what part of the face is the largest represented? Yeah, the lips and the tongue. The tongue is this huge area right here. Yeah. Okay? And your lips and these huge areas, and your cheeks, and your chin, and your face. A lot of guys who grow beards, why we like picking at them? It's sensory stimulating to touch your face. During coronavirus season, touching your face is not a good idea. But it's very satisfying to sit and pick at your face because there's a lot of sensory nerves there. It's very, very sensitive. That's why people enjoy smooching each other. Because the sensory stimulus is extremely expressive in the brain. Okay? And so, look at your... Can you see the pointer finger? Index finger? Why would this finger be the one that is the most? Where's the thumb? I'm looking for the... Oh, the thumb is right here. Hold on. There's a much better picture in the book for this, but just for reference purposes. So here's your thumb right here. Here's your index finger right here. Here's the "you got in my way while driving" finger right there. Here's my ring finger. But so look at the thumb and the index finger. Those are the two largest representations, and probably the middle finger too, because how do we manipulate our environment? By these basic fingers. These fingers are just to kind of along for the ride. But these three fingers are extremely strong. And they're extremely dexterous and extremely sensitive. Why do you think your fingers are right next to your face? Why would someone put their genitals right next to their feet? It's so many cute jokes, but I'm just going to skip it. Now, okay, but it has to do with in the spine on where the nerves enter the back. And maybe it's so you don't pee on your shoes. Okay, do some people enjoy foot stimulation as a sexual thing? Yeah. Okay. Not a foot person. Okay, but why would someone enjoy that? They're right next to each other. If you happen to be pregnant at some point in your life, one of the best ways to start inducing labor is go get a foot massage. There are nerves in your ankle that you can massage that go into the uterus that can help stimulate the uterus to start contracting. Because it's not because your uterus is attached to your ankle, it's because they go into the same area of the nerve in the lower back. And when they go in the same area of the nerve in the lower back, if I stimulate one, it cross-stimulates other nerves around it. Okay. But I think it's kind of funny, your entire back, this is your entire trunk. That little tiny part, the entire part of your whole midsection is that one little part, and you've got this huge part for your mindex and middle finger. And look at your upper lip is a huge part. And your lower lip down here. That would be face. So that's your whole rest of your face is right here. But again, what's cool is that when we look at this entire body map, you start to realize that how do you know that that's where your lips are? feedback. How do you know what lines are what lines? The feedback you get. And how do you know what sounds are which sounds? You get feedback from the environment. He can't hear those low sounds. You can't hear when I get a text message. Okay, but he can hear the cricket. Because it's the feedback he gets. Oh, I hear that, I don't. Can you hear the fan humming? Yeah. Because that's a higher frequency sound. It's interesting. It's just fascinating. It's very cool. Where are your guts on here? Here are your guts. It's not labeled. It actually is, but it's labeled on the other side. Oh, what's the color? Okay, so now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I took a picture of the picture. Oh, okay, it won't do it. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so now, if your intestines are that area of your brain, let's say you have a problem in one small part of your intestines, like you have diverticulitis, a small little cavity in your bowel. Where does your stomach hurt? In this general area. The dermatomes for your guts are terrible. A lot of women who have menstrual cramps will feel like their lower back hurts. It's not their lower back that hurts. It's just your brain just says, my stomach hurts. And so you try to ask like someone who has appendicitis. It might hurt over here. But how does the doctor know it's appendicitis? They put specific sharp frequency pressure in certain areas, and then whenever there's a sharp frequency pressure, it's different than a low, dull ache. There's a difference between pain and ache. What does it feel like when you're in acute pain? Sharp, high-frequency nerve fibers sending signals. Like when you first cut yourself, when you're cutting, and you run around. But then what happens later? It hurt the first time you did it. But when you say it starts to hurt, that's exactly the right metaphor that I was looking for. Then the slow pain fibers, as soon as you activate those fast nerve fibers, as soon as you break the free nerve endings on the nerve fibers, it sends pain signals into your brain. Right. I do that all the time when I'm cooking. I mean, I stab myself, actually, quite quickly. I stabbed myself with, I forget what it was. I think I reached in and got the fork or something. And it's called not looking when you reach into the drawer. Wow, that healed very quickly. I remember because it hurt, because every time I would do this, it would like, the whisker would go right into that wound and just stab it again. Ow! But it's right there, but it healed. I could still feel it if I push on it hard enough. Okay. Okay, but, wait. Yep, right there. Stabby. Okay, so, what the weird thing is that, is that pain useful after the cells have already been damaged? Because when you cut yourself, is it useful to know that you cut yourself? Yes. It's not really useful. Your brain actually will dampen the pain signals. When you first injure yourself, it's important to know that you've injured yourself. Okay? It's important to know that you hurt yourself. But after you've already hurt yourself, that's when it's important to realize, like for example, when I had knee surgery, I had a big cyst in this knee scooped out. That was from jumping over a fence when I was 20 and hurt it. Then I was 40 and needed surgery, whatever. So, I cleared the fence one. So, when I had the surgery, the doctor said, I want you to take the pain medicine so you don't limp. Because by removing the cyst, all of a sudden my knee now had full range of motion. It didn't have full range of motion before. But once my knee got full range of motion again, he wanted me to use it in full range of motion, and he wanted me to take the pain medicine so that I could move it in its full range of motion. So I only took one because I'm terrified of opiates. But where do the opiates work in the brain? I should be able to click on this. Yeah. This is in the center of the brainstem. But it's neat. Yeah. Sorry, that was awesome. Okay. Can we see where we are in the center of the brainstem? Here's the surface of the pons. Tricky. So this is looking from the back. I flip it around. We look at the front. Here is the cerebral aqueduct where it goes from the spine. This is called the periaqueductal gray matter. So this is in the center of the spinal cord, right above the medulla. Right above the medulla, right around the cerebral aqueduct, which fluid goes up. This is where pain is in your brain. This is where pain is. If I take an opiate, it blocks cells in the periaqueductal gray matter from releasing pain up into the cortex. They work extremely well. What's the problem with them? Is it louder? They're addicting. Why are they addicting? They work by changing the adaptation, the second messenger signal, and they cause the cells to adapt to pain. So whenever you are in pain, anybody know the best way to not be in pain? No, that's no, it's not a good choice. Just punch your sibling, you'll feel better. Most of the way to do that, like if you bonk your head on something, you rub it, you overstimulate the area. When you overstimulate the area, your body releases natural pain things, called enkephalons, which tells your body, don't worry about that. Is some pain useful? Be careful. Is some pain useful? Yes. But is other, like for example, if your stomach hurts because you're stressed, is that pain useful? Are menstrual cramps useful? With my wife and daughter in the house, we get issues. Okay? Especially because it's like this, and when they're both on the down, and my son and I just go high on outside. So it's so weird. Okay. But why is some pain useful and other pain not? So if, for example, you have a thorn in your foot, it hurts a lot every time you step on your foot. The really cool thing, though, as soon as you pull that tiny little splinter out of your foot, what happens? The pain goes away. The pain isn't useful anymore. It's only useful while that damage is done. But what I'm trying to get at is that your brain adapts to pain. And the best way to avoid pain is to move. What do most coaches tell the athletes when they get hurt? Walk it off. Now if you have a broken ankle, walking it off is not exactly a good choice. I've seen football coaches try to say that to some kids. Okay, you just gotta keep walking, you'll be okay. And the kid's like, that's not gonna help. But if it's just an impact, if it's just like a bruise, what does walking around do? Increases the blood flow and makes it go away. This morning when I got up, we were playing Frisbee yesterday with my son. my plantar fascia in my right foot was very sore. It's been very good since I had an injection earlier on in the year, but now if I am too runny, it hurts. And especially we're running chasing the Frisbee, and it's really fun. I'm part Labrador, so chasing the Frisbee is like, yay! Okay, so this morning when I got up, that hurt. So how do I fix that? What do I have to do? Well, stretching, it's not going to really help if it's cold. Walk. Why am I wearing my running shoes today as opposed to my Vans? Well, these running shoes help with plantar fasciitis. They're squishy. They're very squishy. I work out with these on, and they're terrible workout shoes because they have no support whatsoever. But they're really good for my plantar fasciitis. I much prefer Vans to work out in because they're nice and flat on the ground. So when you pick up heavy things, they don't squish. Like doing squats in these is just stupid because your feet just kind of slowly push out to the outside. You have to really concentrate not to bend your feet. But again, all I had to do is I put my running shoes on this morning. So I had basically a pair of workout shorts and running shoes on this morning, and I was getting the house ready to go for school. My wife walks out and goes, "Why are you wearing shoes?" Because I'm standing in the kitchen with running shoes, workout shorts, and no shirt. No socks. Dad bod. Rocking it. Okay. And it's funny because I'm walking around. The more I walk around, does it even hurt at all right now? Not at all. Do you think it's still injured? Yes, but why doesn't it hurt? Because I've adapted to the fact that it hurts. So my brain is blocking the fact that it hurts because it's not useful for me anymore. So think about this as like if you're wearing, do you feel the implants sitting back here anymore on the skin? Because why is it not important to feel them all the time? Yeah, your body filters out the useless information. If there was something seriously wrong, like this hip has got something seriously wrong in it. It's been hurting in the same way for a couple years. So, am I doing anything about it? Yes, I'm doing lots of single leg activities and doing lots of things to strengthen it so it doesn't ruin me. But eventually, when I get to be old, I will probably need a new hip. Because if you ever throw a discus, and the front of the discus, and you come like this, and you go, bang, like that. That's how you throw the thing. And the shot put, bang. You constantly are twisting that hip like that. Whenever I twist like that, that's where it hurts, right there. So what do you think I did over all the years of throwing discuses and shot puts and things? Overuse injury. I broke that, whatever that part is in there. Why did I have problems with this knee and this side of my back? Probably because my hip isn't quite right. Okay. But, so once you have pain for a long period of time, your body adapts to it. So this is actually kind of funny. My mother-in-law, after she had ovarian cancer, she had a full hysterectomy. She ain't got no uterus anymore, got no ovaries, instant menopause. She still had menstrual cramps. How can she have a menstrual cramp with nothing there? Her brain is still there. She still has a uterus in her brain. So she still feels the pain because the pathway is not coming, the information is not coming from the intestines, but it's actually coming from the brain down. Yeah, she has a phantom uterus. Okay? And so Colleen McClinsky, one of my students a couple of semesters ago, lost her arm because she's had a melanoma, so she had her arm removed. And she had about this much of her arm left. Her hand felt cold and hurt. She doesn't have a hand. But her hand felt cold and hurt. Where did it feel? Parietal lobe. Where her hand was in her parietal lobe, a large area of brain. Remember the slide. It's a large area of brain. And so that because there's no feedback, it started feeling cold and hurt. How do you make it warm up? Well, the mirror changes the way it feels like it's moving, but it doesn't change the way it actually feels. So she had nerves, a brain stimulator put in the back of her neck, okay, very similar to the technology that you have in your brain, that whenever she would feel that ache, she could push on her clavicle like this, and it would activate a switch which would turn on the brain stimulator. It's actually a spinal stimulator. But when it turned it on, she said it feels like someone's dipping my hand in warm water. This kind of like whoop feeling. Because they're actually turning on the feedback nerve. As soon as you turn the feedback nerve on in the spine, the pain went away. Because as opposed to, because she could always just take opiates and block the pain signals, but the pain signals aren't coming from the nerve, so would that work? No. So she can activate the sensory nerve to tell the brain that everything's okay, and it feels like her hand's like, whoop. She said it's like pushing through a balloon, you know, like the stretch, you can kind of feel the whoop, or reaching through the mirror, talk to the other side. Doesn't matter. Okay. So, I'm going to get across that. This is what I kind of wanted to mess with today. We didn't bring any steak. So, I wanted to have the test next Thursday on this stuff. On Tuesday, I want to kind of review everything that we've been talking about in the last week or so. Is that okay? You guys aren't getting there. So in order to review this, it'd be really fun if we brought things in that we could taste and smell. The problem with tasting things with the coronavirus looming, it might not be the best choice. That's why smells are always good. Because you can smell without having to get too close to things. So I want to talk about taste and smell next class. And if anybody's interested, please bring something sugary. I have a chemical that blocks the way sugar tastes. And it's really fun. Last year I brought in moon pies for everybody. Because my wife ordered a case of moon pies and didn't realize a case of moon pies meant a case of cases of moon pies. She wanted a box of moon pies, but she got a case of boxes of moon pies. Amazon.com. Not endorsed by Amazon.com. Okay. I wonder if I can edit my phone number out.